Okay, so what happens to those folks that are, let's say, independent contractors, let's say freelancers, self-employed, sales, things that are not definite in terms of income monthly? Let's talk about this further on how to manage budgeting if you have an irregular income. Back in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City. I love helping people keep some more of their own hard-earned money. And I take budgeting seriously, and I think it's something that all of us should do. Budgeting is a roadmap. But what happens to the folks that have irregular monthly incomes? Okay, this is an important thing to remember. It's not going to be a long video, but it's a key point to remember. So let's say that you have an irregular budget because you have an irregular income, because let's say you're a freelancer, self-employed, things of that nature. All right. Here's a very important point to do. Take any of your fixed expenses. Take out your calculator or your pen and pencil, whatever works best for you that you like to do. Take any of your fixed expenses to calculate your emergency fund. And there really should be an emergency fund, because the idea being is that anyone that is employed in that situation, things are not so definite. Things can change at a moment's notice, sudden income loss. The job that you were doing could just like go away or not be needed, and you're in a lurch. And that's kind of like not a good thing. So I highly recommend to take any of your fixed expenses and calculate for a planned emergency fund. I would take those numbers and multiply those numbers of the things that you absolutely fixed expenses that are absolutes in your life. You could consider multiplying by either the following numbers: 3, 6, or 9. Those numbers represent the months that you want to have for your emergency fund. Okay. Some may just want to start off with 3 because they don't want to feel overwhelmed. Some go with the 6, some go with the 9, some go with beyond. So basically, it's kind of a very simple method. Take those fixed absolute expenses, calculate by multiplying by 3 or 6 or 9, whatever number you decide to choose. And that number will figure into how much you need for your emergency fund. Now, I know it sounds really hard, and I know it sounds really overwhelming. To some folks, it sounds almost impossible. But isn't it better to err on the side of caution while things are better, and to have that money set aside? Because living the freelance style of working, while it's a great thing, it really is, but it puts many in a more vulnerable position to a possibility of a time of no income at all. And that could be totally devastating, really could be like a really big problem. So why not, during better times, create that emergency fund specifically for that reason? And to me, that is definitely a huge reason to want to have a soft place to land and to fall, should that happen. All right, we barely really touched the surface of all of this, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview. And it is my express wish that these last 2 shows specifically will have helped someone think if they're in that sort of position. And kudos to anyone who plans ahead. It is so much easier to do things ahead of time. Well, things are better, just like stockpiling for food and groceries, right? Use the same method. Or saving, even if it's a small save, it's a continuous save, and you still have put something to the side, as opposed to living the loosey-goosey life of could care less. Sometimes could care less has a terrible way of catching up with people. I don't recommend that, but I definitely recommend planning ahead. Well, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I'd also appreciate if you could do the following. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourselves and your families.